Hey guys, what's up? Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday. We are going to watch this mess of a press conference. I'm sure it's going to be a mess. Hey, Bert, Jeffrey, Kathleen, what's up? What's up? I just want to read yesterday what they posted. So apparently, there is an attorney in Houston that is representing 100 more lawsuits against Diddy. 100. That is, the number is astronomical. Like I don't know how much money he had at the beginning of this, but the way he's been settling out in court, he may not have none by the end of it. Yesterday, hey bees, good afternoon. So they had an immediate press release, and it said, "Hi Anne Marie." It says the Buzby law firm and the Ava law firm will hold a press conference Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. At the press conference, information will be made available for the first time to the public regarding claims made by the victims against Sean Diddy Combs and other alleged perpetrators where rape, sexual assault, and sexual exploitation were alleged. At the conference, lead counsel Tony Buzby will release pertinent details regarding cases that will be filed on behalf of what is now well over 100 alleged victims. Details provided at the conference will include information regarding other potential defendants, so other people that did stuff, information on the claimants themselves, where the alleged activity occurred, and what allegedly occurred. Mr. Busby also intends to share specific, compelling stories of some victims and take questions. So, yeah, this might be kind of wild, you guys. Hey, JoJo, Flash, Sugar, Alyssa. I've been in this rabbit hole. I'm in it too. Hey, Susan. I am in it too. So, hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, that'll work. I am having a good day. There we go. Let me just stick that up there before we start. Hey, mistress, how are you? So, yeah, this should be no telling what they're going to say. I mean, this one attorney has 100 women or maybe men. Oh, Flash, shoot. Happy birthday to you. Happy 82nd birthday to you. Just kidding. All right. Despite my husband not wanting to go down the Diddy rabbit hole, I've pulled him in kicking and screaming. I told you my husband went in my office and took the Kim's Lost Words. He took that book off of my desk and he ended up reading it. So mine fell in by accident, but he's here. Men and women, underage minors, from what I've heard. I know, JoJo, late last night, I read an affidavit and the girl said that she was in DHS care. So, she was underage. She was in the care of DHS and got victimized. Good night. It's your birthday too, Burke. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Hey, chicky chick. Oh, my hubs is in this hole more than I am. Man, I thought Kim's book was crazy. I mean, although it wasn't hers, it was supposed to be, memoirs out of her diary. But man, that was freaking nuts. If that stuff is true, which a lot of it seems to line up. I mean, she talked about the car exploding. Kid Cudi's car exploded. She it talked about in there how J-Lo came over there pissed off about the whole club shooting. And I mean, it all seems to line up. Hey, my four monkeys. You haven't got the book yet? It's $25. It's only a 50-page book. I would mail it to you to help you save $25. Oh my goodness. Getting my water leak fixed. Be back in a few. All right, Chicky Chick. Definitely get that fixed because boy, it costs some money. Is the live still up? I missed you reading it. No, but I will put it over on Rumble. I'll put it on my Rumble channel if you want to go over there and listen to it, Flash. I didn't want to keep it here because I didn't realize that it was a copyright problem. So let me pull this live up here. This is not started yet. So yeah, I think he's in some serious trouble. I listened to some read the whole book on YouTube. Cost nothing for me. Exactly. Oh yeah, Flash. That's another thing. If I'll put it over there. I don't know how long it'll take to upload because my stuff's kind of slow, but I've seen other people read it on here, but they did it right. See, I had to stop and do more commentary if I wanted to leave it up. But I was just a reading. I read the whole book. Oh, Calvel, it's bad. And I wonder how much worse it's going to get when this attorney comes out and does his speech. I hope you've been doing good. I'm happy to see you and say, oh, I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, so I don't know. The affidavit that I read last night said that she was in DHS care. She was actually in a foster home when she was victimized. And in her statement that she gave, it said that it was dang, I can't remember his name now. The one who's the guy that brought out Lil Wayne? They call him Baby, but I forget his name. Anywho, it was him. It was Diddy and Denzel Washington that she listed in there. Hey, Blue Aggie. Anne Marie, I seen somewhere that was actually it was a did you watch the Ava videos? Oh no, Beezer, because my phone was off. I didn't notice until about 10:30 this morning that my phone was disconnected. I thought my bill was due tomorrow. I guess I was a day off. Yeah, that's what I read too, Dorothy, that she was never officially adopted and they pretty much just made up that video. But still, I'm not sure if what parents. I would never let my kids go over to no grown ass people's house. I'd be wanting to know why they want to hang out with my teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you 30 and 40-year-old men want to hang with my teenager? Hey, guy girl. Both my phones died at the same time. Mine didn't die. It got disconnected. It's prepaid though, so not really disconnected, You use your 30 days, then they cut your ass off and you pay the bill and then they cut you back on. I won't have a phone with a plan anymore. Every time I've ever had a phone plan, they'll say it'll be like $45 a month or $60 a month. And then you get the bill and it's like 147 or something. No, screw that. Whoops. They think the raid was specifically because of her, allegedly. Wow. Well, that wouldn't shock me. Calval, call Gotti. She lost your number. Boost Mobile. I have what do I have? I have AT&T. I have AT&T. It's $40 a month. Now I forget what company that my daughters have, but theirs is $60 for both lines. All the pics I've seen seeing of Diddy kissing these rappers I used to love is weird. I know. Just the way, he went up to, well, he was accepting an award one time, wasn't he? And went up to Jay-Z and smacked him on his ass in front of everybody in the award ceremony. Like, that's weird. Come on. Like kissing other men on the lips out in public. Weird. Okay. I just think it's something wrong. I'm going back to writing down numbers like in prison. You're gonna have that little piece of paper rolled up. I got all my numbers right here. That piece of paper gonna wear out. I got it, bees. My son loved Justin Bieber. We used to go to the movies of Justin Bieber and see the innocence of it. It hurts my heart. I really think this is why Bieber is the way. I know. Listen, I seriously think he was a child victim. And I hope that's why not a lot of people are doing a lot of story on it, because, he's living with that stuff. I feel bad for him. He was so young, 13. And from what I've read, hey, lucky lady, from what I've read, I guess Diddy wanted to get, how he had Usher move in with him, and he had the rights to Usher when he was a teenager. I guess Diddy also tried to get Bieber like that, and they said no. And so then they said that Usher went and got Bieber, allegedly, and then that's how Diddy got the 48 hours with Justin Bieber when he was really young, when he started promising him the car and the house and all that creepy shit, and Justin was looking all uncomfortable. Yeah, definitely not something that's normal. Let's see here, make sure they haven't started. Nope. So how is y'all's days going today? Everybody in the hurricane, is the water starting to recede at all? I know it takes 2 to 3 weeks when you got flooding of this magnitude. Whoa. Hold on.
Targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being
Got
said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit.
Wow.
We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive.
Wow. Here we go.
But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point.
Oh my
Pursuing
God.
cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know.
120 people.
It is evenly divided between males and females.
Ooh.
60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs.
Oh my goodness. 60 males and 60 females, you guys. They're split dead in half. They got 120 clients, 60 and 60.
In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida.
25 states? That is half the country, y'all.
I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
What?
We have an individual who was 14 years old.
WTF. Are you serious? 9 years old and 14? Oh no, you need to be in jail if this is true. Sorry.
One who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward.
Well, especially when you get victimized at 9 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, you're probably embarrassed. And then you got these powerful people and nobody's believing you. Because I did that affidavit I read last night. She said that she tried to tell like her foster family and the judge and nobody listened to her. Oh my gosh.
To make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought.
Hey, Lexi.
They revive such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason
Wow.
many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says,
That's
a
true.
lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles,
Wow.
or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party.
Oh my gosh. This dude can't have any holidays, any parties or nothing. It was this every time, these freak offs. Like, oh.
The all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry.
Hey, jet lag.
Were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know.
Wow.
Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with.
Oh, jet lag.
Did you know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports, reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals?
55% of these people reported it to hospitals or the authorities, and nothing happened.
In the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI.
Wow.
You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Oh my gosh.
Now, there's been a lot of...
He was using horse tranquilizers on people and on kids. Man, there is no telling what kind of drugs. Now, I have heard that he used to spike some of those vodka bottles. You know, he had that vodka company that was sponsoring him. And I heard that he kept bottles of that vodka full of drugs, and they would have people, you know, the guests. Those are the bottles that they drunk out of.
Reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases.
Hi, Sicilian.
Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case.
Yep, Ciroc, that was it.
Each case may be filed in
one
venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people.
Oh, man.
I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name,
you know, as much as I'd like to not know the name of all these other people until they get their investigation done, make sure they have enough evidence, it's probably safer for them not to say names. But people in Hollywood got to be scared as hell if they were involved in this stuff, as they should be.
Assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders.
Georgia
That
Mom,
is, those people that
sorry.
we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
Hey, Eeyore.
I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities
Holy
who ultimately
moly.
profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many
Banks, pharmaceutical companies, and hotels, and they were paid cash.
of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused, and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave, and then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it.
Man, this sounds like it's going to be everybody that done been at a Diddy party, man.
Any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on, but failed to stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up.
Well, you know that hotel where he beat on Cassie is in trouble because he made that video disappear until it popped up after her lawsuit. So that hotel's got to be included in that.
These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are in fact individual.
Man, why do you mean desperately seeking their memories? You know if you've seen some shit at a Diddy party, man, stop it.
Cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she
Holy crap,
is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something.
There's the
Once
Ciroc.
that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around.
Oh my God.
As other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm.
Wow.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false.
Man, y'all going to jail and you deserve it. This is crazy. All these people need to be locked up. They do. Just because you have money should not keep you free and clear from your actions, okay? Especially stuff like this, man. This is crazy.
Imprisonment.
Whoops.
Sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure
Yes, it is.
file these cases that they are fully vetted.
It is, Beezer. They want other victims
filing
to
these
call
cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days.
Oh, chicky chicks.
Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, these types of
Oh my
this type
gosh.
of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we can, as collectively can do about it. So,
Oh wow,
I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and some of the, so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul.
I heard that
She's
too.
a national
Sunshine
victim
and Rain.
advocate.
Hi, Mama Goose.
Who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits.
That wouldn't surprise me, Flash.
Prosecutors are focused on what.
I just watched a show about Steve Harvey and his daughter. You know, Steve Harvey's daughter dated P. Diddy's son and then dated P. Diddy allegedly. So she went from son to the dad. And there were pictures of all of them out to eat dinner and stuff with Steve Harvey and his wife. I guess it's his stepdaughter. She dated apparently Diddy's son and then Diddy afterwards. And she was a teenager.
They can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control.
Sorry, I had to let Rex out.
They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version.
That's another thing. I heard something about Diddy's housekeepers and like the maids and the butler and all them. They had to actually keep drugs on them in case he just wanted some out of nowhere, you know, just crazy. And that they would go in and clean up after these freak offs. Ain't no telling what they seen. And they just keep going to work because the money's good. Come on, man, stop. There's got to be a limit to people, man.
than the public does. All who rely on the abuser in some way.
I seen that, Dawn.
And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way?
Are you sure it happened?
Were you drinking? What were you wearing?
You know what? I really
All
hate
of
that.
this creates an environment that enables abusers to
I hate when something happens to somebody and they say, like, what were you wearing? Like, what the fuck does it matter? Okay. If I was wearing a piece of damn gray tape and a shoestring, it doesn't mean it gives somebody the right to freaking do whatever they want with you. Okay. It has nothing to do with how you're dressed. Stop it.
continue abusing them
Victim
and
blaming.
future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like
Wow.
nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
Sorry that someone got to get
Much
up there
now
and
to
even
hear
say
from
that.
my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. You know, we've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works
Here
and
it
the kind of
is.
volume of calls we've received.
1-800-200-7474.
Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of ABA Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least.
They got 120 victims in 10 days.
Abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward.
What?
Where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up.
3,000 people came forward in 10 days. Oh my gosh. My mind is blown. 3,000. And you know, some of them probably didn't have the proof. It was from years ago, 20 years ago. Like,
to validate what had happened here and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so, like Tony said, we've set this up. It's 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by, literally. If you know
it would literally take a
this happened to
team.
someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this.
You're welcome, and you're right, whatever.
30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail. They tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust?
And you know, the sad thing is a lot of the underage ones were actually put there by adults. They were put in that position by adults, by parents, by their own parents, by other adults. I mean, for money. I mean, that's what it had to be.
Well, we know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the
Yeah,
past 10
Holly
days.
Weird has a
If
whole new
you
meaning,
or
doesn't
someone
it?
you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly, internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Wow.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair
By the way, I looked up these two law firms, two huge law firms in Houston, okay? Powerhouses.
for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys
I know.
confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention.
I'm a child assault survivor. The retired married neighbors babysat me. The husband molested me and his granddaughter for years. His wife, my mom, my dad, and the granddaughter's parents knew. I'm so sorry that happened to you, Shelley. That was not your fault. That's horrible. Fucking horrible.
Which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation.
None
And
of
no
them did a
individual,
thing about it. Looked the
regardless
other
of
way
their
and didn't want to
stature,
know.
is
That's
above the law
disgusting.
or public
I'm
accountability.
glad you're here. I'm glad you're
Sadly,
okay.
the statistics paint a very disturbing picture.
It-
According to the
that was
National
not your
Sexual
fault.
Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the US alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface.
You hear that?
Sexual
A half
violence
million
remains one of the
victims
most
a year.
underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve.
That is disgusting. 1% go to trial. That's it. Oh my gosh. These numbers are horrible. So they're just not believing anyone. It's
I want to briefly focus on our state
ridiculous.
here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some
Wait,
form of
I'm
violence.
gonna like that up
That's
there.
every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few.
That's crazy. So with those numbers, 60 people will be violated just during this press conference, you guys.
Of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have
I haven't,
access to the
Ragin.
resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not. To every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still grappling with their decision,
Oh,
know
I'm
that you are
sure,
not
Flash.
alone
I would
and
guess
that your
yes.
voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer
Oh,
tolerated,
Dior, I'm so
where
sorry.
justice is not the exception, but the standard. Thank you.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases. Under
That's
Jane
so
Doe,
true,
which
whatever.
each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling.
Oh, here we
reporting
go.
that we are trying to corroborate.
Oh, that
vet.
scared me.
And these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party.
I said, how targeted is that? How targeted is that? If you don't drink their laced alcohol so they can take advantage and do whatever they want to you, you are kicked out of the party. Well, the people kicked out were the lucky ones, come to find out, right?
Was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to a audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
Oh my gosh, what? He went to audition and was taken advantage of by not only Diddy, but other people. Oh my gosh. And his parents were there.
Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
Are you effing kidding?
An individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her.
They're flying out 15-year-olds. Where are the fucking parents at? And why would someone want to take your kid in another room in a music studio? What is he gonna sing better in there? Like, what is going? Where are these kids' parents? This shit.
Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport. Was given one drink in the SUV and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then
Oh
went
my
to the
gosh.
hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, an individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but
Oh no.
whatever she drank at the table, apparently,
They like
at least
pregnant
according
people.
to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore.
She was pregnant. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm so glad he's locked up, y'all. They need to lock up the rest of them. This is ridiculous. Nobody should have to be subjected to this stuff.
And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves.
Good, chicky chick. I'm glad it didn't.
One instance,
with
an
a bat or
individual who
something.
was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend. Just saw her on the street, asked to attend.
You're
a
good, Shelley.
Party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system.
They're lucky they weren't
I'll give you a
killing all
quote
these people by
from
drugging them. Can you imagine
very
not
young
taking
man,
drugs and all of a sudden you got
told us over the
cocaine and
phone about his experience,
horse
and all
tranquilizer
the
in your
things that happened to
system?
him, he says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me."
Oh my gosh.
And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing
Yes,
this,
jet lag.
asking you
At some point, the
to
parents
support
got to be
this
fucking
effort,
responsible, man. Come
to
on.
encourage witnesses and victims
Especially
to
when
come
they're that
forward
not
and
the
bring your
9,
evidence
14.
so we can
15.
continue to break down this wall of silence, and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else.
Right.
This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you are one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you are someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name.
Can you imagine how many people are getting ready to call them if they got 3,000 calls in the last 10 days and they hadn't even asked anyone to step forward? They hadn't asked anyone to step forward in the last 10 days and they had 3,000 people call in. He said they have a whole team. They better have a whole room full of people because I feel like their phone lines are about to get blown up.
And can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it.
I don't know, Raging.
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Antonio,
But I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The
Wow.
FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of,
Man, that's just dirty. That is dirty. They are out there trying to, build a career, be a musician, use their talents to become famous. And you got these freaking weirdos up here doing this to them.
we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically
Yeah.
doing things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment.
Come on.
industry ever.
Yeah, we're going to make you a big
All right, guys.
star.
Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now.
Ugh. Well, y'all, that was completely disgusting. He needs to stay in jail. They better not let him out on this next bond hearing. He obviously was a witness, right? I mean, they said that after they raided his house, but before he was incarcerated, that he actually was calling people from the past who hadn't heard from him in years. He was calling them and trying to tell them what story they should tell. Like, imagine being victimized by him allegedly, and 7 years later, after they raid his house, he's calling you and telling you what you should remember. That is crazy. I need holy water, sage, candles, etc., everything. I cannot believe that they said a 9-year-old, you guys. A 9-year-old. Okay, what is that? 3rd, 4th grade? Let me see. You're 5 when you're in kindergarten. 6, 7, 8. Okay, we talking 3rd or 4th grade, you guys. That is completely disgusting. And apparently, out of 120 victims he has, 25 of them were kids, underage. 25 out of 120. As young as 9 years old. Yeah, called one of them 68 times. Called one 68 times. So he's going to go around and threaten people or try to pay him off if he's out. They better not let him out. And I'm sure the other people that are involved with this are running around trying to pay people off at the same time. Hey, Four Frogs. I also heard that in Hollywood, videos of Diddy and from his parties and these freak offs are the people that are in the videos are being called and told, give me this much money for this tape before other people get their hands on it. So his videos of these freak offs are being shopped around Hollywood where they're selling for millions of dollars. Sometimes back to the people who are in the video. They're like paying these millions of dollars to get the video that they're in so that other people don't have it, which I wouldn't trust anyway, because if they're blackmailing you to get your video of being a victim, then they probably made copies, if I had to guess. Hey, Sammy. Court documents revealed that Sean Diddy Combs allegedly contacted Kalina Harper 128 times and called her over 50 times in a span of 4 days after Don Richards sued him. Yeah, that's him. That's him messing with state witnesses. That's a whole nother charge. Hey, sidebar. Look at how many victims were shamed and not believed with Cosby, Weinstein. Oh, I know. It's because they're so powerful. I'm sure they're scared to death. And listen, come on now. Everybody's gone. I listened to Jaguar Wright, and she said the original Bad Boy Records, the people that worked there and stuff, everyone is gone. Everyone died except for Diddy and oh, what's his name? And then he's recently was in a coma when he tried to release a book about his own life. But those are the only two left, I guess, from the original Bad Boy Records. No, Albie Shore. It's Diddy and Albie Shore are the only two that are left from the original Bad Boy Records. And I guess when Albie Shore was going to write a book about himself a couple years ago, that he ended up in a coma. And I don't know what's up with Jay-Z, but they've been best friends forever. So I can't imagine that you can have a best friend that's doing these kind of things and you don't know, okay? That's just my opinion, all right? If you've been best friends for 20, 30 years, I'm going to assume that you know what's going on, especially if you've been at all those parties with everybody else. Hey, Mimi. Right, just everybody falling over, just dead. And look how many people in just that book died from pneumonia. The coroner, Kim, 2 dudes that Kim tried to mess with, all of them. Girl, wait till they start grabbing all those basketball players, NBA players. They ain't gonna be. I'm telling you, who was it? LeBron James said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." I wouldn't know, and I am so thankful. Okay. Jamie Foxx with his stroke allegedly has info. Man. Oh, Kelval. This lady made that. That's it. He wasn't actually in the maid dress. A lady made it as a meme, and he's pissed about it. And someone keeps making memes of Meek Mill, and Meek Mill's so mad that he's offering $100,000 to figure out who's making the memes about him. Imagine that. Imagine that. You couldn't hardly tell that was a fake picture, though. She put his head on him on that maid's dress just right. It looks almost real. He didn't have a stroke. Jamie Foxx was poisoned. Oh my goodness. There's going to be so much stuff. And you know, a lot of these famous people that have been hurt by him are probably still hesitant to come up and say anything, because not only did something happen to him by them, obviously they were close to him at a time to make him that mad to try to allegedly do something to him. So everybody been around. It seems like he's been around everyone too. I mean, when you look up pictures of Diddy and other people, it's like he knew everyone in the freaking world. Like, what is up? Hopefully the rest of all these people aren't doing this stuff. This is going to be crazy, you guys. Gonna be crazy. It's too bad that it's federal charges, because if they were like state charges, then we'd all be able to watch it on court TV and actually hear what's going on. But because it's federal, you know, they'll have the little cartoon character drawings and then just what people listen to. and take notes of in the courtroom. 50 Cent finally getting it right. 50 Cent has been trolling P. Diddy forever. And he's not slowing down now. When you're that rich and not powerful, you still got people on the outside too. Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. Twitch, what y'all think now? Oh, you talking about oh man. I didn't think about that, Ragin. With social media like it is, secrets are not wise, right? I can't believe it went on for 30 years and they just now caught on. There is going to be so many. Yes, Ellen's Twitch. Yes. I didn't even think about that. You know, his wife reported that he was fine at home and then just left and then was gone. Hey, Jeffrey. I seen you in here earlier. Oh my God. I watched on a different channel. It is gross. Yep. He ended with Wendy Williams, got her suspended from her job. And he also sent one of his girl groups. He sent one of his girl groups over to the radio station that Wendy Williams worked for. And it was like 3 girls and a girl band that he was promising to become famous, but they never became famous. So he sent 3 girls over to the radio station to go beat up Wendy Williams when she outed him way back. Sorry, sugar. I'm always going in a rabbit hole, always. I know, Misty. That's what I said. That's like 3rd or 4th grade. 3rd or 4th grade. Man, Twitch was so much fun. Rumors are Twitch might have been going to speak out. Wendy Williams is now ill. Yeah, she is. The last time I seen her was on a live and she was at her house and she was mad at her son and going off on him, but she did not look well. Tragic should come with a warning label. That's true. That's probably true. That was the strangest thing. I used to watch him and his wife on TikTok all the time dancing. They had I know it. And they were so fun to watch too. My grandson is 9 years old. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine. Flip my lid. I'd just lock me up for the rest of my life. That would be the end of me. I'd be in prison forever. Forever, ever. Okay? Forever, ever. Watch some of those old interviews with Wendy Williams when she had her radio show. Exactly. So did I, Sammy. He seemed so fun. Yeah, on Ellen's show, and him and his wife had that channel, like she said, where they used to dance all the time, and they had the 2 kids, and they were just the cutest. I was sad when that happened. Maybe it was something he just couldn't deal with. It's sad. Sad, sad. Anywho, you guys, I think I'm going to jump off of here, but I was interested in watching that, and so I thought I'd just come on here and watch it with you guys. I didn't expect nothing like that. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect 9 years old, okay? 9 years old is mind-blowing to me. Seriously, that's sick and disgusting. I hope they all go to jail. Just saying. Anyway, I'm going to jump up off here, you guys. I shall see y'all later. Have a good afternoon and see y'all later.